Oh, whoops, that was the wrong intro.
Listen, the fact that Deontay Wilder was heavyweight champion of the world for 5 years, doesn't matter who you're beating, he beat his mandatories. I've never in my life seen anybody who's the heavyweight champion of the world more disrespected than what I've seen Deontay Wilder disrespected over the past 8 months. Like, they're making it seem like Deontay Wilder is a nobody. The guy had such a high knockout percentage, 10 successful title defenses. He beat the people who the sanctioning body put in front of him. What did you want him to do? So many people have lost the first time in boxing. You can go back to Joe Louis in 1936 when he lost to Max Schmeling, comes back and defeats Max Schmeling and rectifies the loss. There have been cases. Tommy Morrison got blown off by Ray Mercer 20 months later, comes back, beats George Foreman to become the heavyweight champion of the world. But I'm pissed off that people have disrespected Deontay Wilder. The people in the UK support UK fighters. Why is it that here in the United States, American fight fans would rather support a fighter from overseas instead of one of your own homegrown champions? This is crazy to me. Like, how do we not support our own fighters? It is ludicrous.
Well, it's No Danger Zone Boxing Talk. It is DC Left Hook. Back as always with another edition of the Final Bell. Blessed to have the Vegas Kid with us tonight, Augie Sanchez. Augie, do you want to say hello to everybody and tell everybody where they can follow you on social media?
Yes. How's everyone doing? Thank you for having me on the show. It's much appreciated. Yes, I am on Instagram, Augie.Sanchez.77. If you want to follow me there.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into it. First, I want to start with the interview, then we'll talk a little boxing in a little bit, if you don't mind. All right. Yeah. So you actually came up in probably my favorite era and around my favorite weight class. My favorite fighter growing up for a very long time was Kevin Kelly. That's how I ended up being introduced to Prince Naseem Ahmed. I became a fan of his. I didn't like him during the Kevin Kelly build-up, but then he kind of won me over. Then you guys had a wonderful fight and an epic build-up. Tell us, what was it like being part of that whole spectacle? Because everything the Prince did was huge.
Was drama, yeah. It was huge. Actually, bringing up Kevin Kelly, yeah, he was actually my sparring partner to get prepared for Naseem Hamed. So yeah, me and Kevin go way back. We helped each other out in different occasions, and so yeah, I mean, it was a circus, preparation for him and the interviews that he was talking about me, and I was excited to see what he was going to bring.
Well, did it become a little personal for you, because if I remember right, he did say quite a lot.
Yeah, you know what? I just kind of let it roll off my shoulders and, try to stick to what I have to do, and even though it was difficult at times, but it just kind of just let it roll off my shoulder and let my hands.
All right. Let your hands go. All right. And you guys put on a great fight, and but now you're on the other side a little bit. You're still in the business, but now you're training. So what's that like? What's the major difference there? I know, besides taking punches to the face.
Yeah, that's the good part about it. Now I'm on the other side of the ropes, and so now it's basically just not only being a fighter of so many years. Now I'm able to get back to the sport and try to develop these boxers and help them achieve their goals. Being the number one or whatever that they want to try to achieve, whether it be weight loss or whether it be trying to be Olympic medalist or a world champion. So I have a lot of knowledge to pass down, and I'm just trying to help them try to achieve their goals. it's just because a person, a professional boxer can box really good, doesn't necessarily mean that he knows how to transfer it over to learn how to teach. And I've been blessed with being able to do that.
Okay. Who are a couple of the fighters you've been working with?
Well, I was a 2016 Olympic coach for 2016 in Rio, and so I worked with all the big guys now that they're professional. They all turned pro after the fight, after the Olympics, and Shakur Stevenson, Clarissa Shields, Gary Russell, all them guys, and it was a pleasure, working with them and seeing them develop and looking to see where they're at now.
Awesome. Having worked with all those guys as amateurs and now seeing how they're developing as professionals, who do you look at as being the top of those 2016 guys that came out, like your Ryan Garcia? Obviously, let's take Teofimo out of the equation because he went up and became undisputed. But of the rest of the young guys, who do you really have your eye on?
To be honest, I mean, I really feel like all of them have really made the transition of going to amateur to pro really well. So I mean, all the ones that I've worked with from the team, they're all doing pretty well and they're pretty successful. Of course, the show, she's still doing a lot of big things. And
absolutely,
yeah. So I'm really impressed with her. And Shakur, they're doing great. It's really a blessing. I knew that they were going to achieve a lot of success working with them in the Olympics. So
absolutely,
so it's good to see how well they're progressing.
And I'm very high on Clarissa Shields. I had she's amazing. 4-division world champion, two-time gold medalist. She ought to be American boxing royalty. We should treat her much better than what we do. I beg her for an interview all the time. She probably thinks I'm stalking her. No, she's really nice. She's a really nice person, man. And because I follow on social media and I see the things that she does in the community, and I've seen her development. And she's just a wonderful person and a great champion. And how's that feel? I mean, it has to feel awesome to know that you were a part of helping develop someone that's gone on to be this successful and this great.
No, yeah. Like I said, it was a pleasure to work with them and seeing them develop, and in training camps and preparation of qualifying for the Olympics, and and making the team, and seeing how the progression came over. But no, yeah, it's great group of boxers, really talented, and the thing is, I like how they all give back to their communities and giving back to the fighters as well, and trying to help them mentally and help them to be good people and become champions as well.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. All right, well, let's get into some boxing, because this is a huge boxing weekend, man. There's 3 cards that are just packed full of great fights. We'll start off with the Derek Chisora facing Alexander Usyk. This is a fight I'm very interested in because I'm very high on Alexander Usyk as a fighter. I think everybody is, but yeah. I've really questioned the transition to heavyweight, which is weird because he's 6'4", but that tells you where the heavyweight division is in the last 15 years, and they're giants. We're talking about him as being a small heavyweight. Although I did see today that he actually weighed in the heaviest he's ever weighed for a professional prize fight. Derek Chisora, I don't know if you've seen him. Play the video real fast. I don't know if you've seen his outfit for the weigh-in. I found it quite interesting. Let's see if you'll pop up. So I don't know if you've seen all that. He had a all white with a Joker with war wrote on him. I thought it was great. I thought stuff. I think stuff like that it adds to the build up. I know maybe the opponent don't really necessarily like it. Like, wait, what are you doing? But I love it. What do you think about this fight, man? Because I have a lot of questions about Alexander Usyk. Now, his footwork is spectacular. So he could take the punches. I think he could do very well in this division. But that's the big question for me.
No, I definitely think he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think that he's the real deal. Also, I think he has a lot of good qualities. He's really determined. He's strong. He's ambitious. So I think that he definitely has a good chance of becoming a good prospect and becoming a world champion in this division.
Yeah, I agree. And he's a southpaw, so it's going to be something to deal with. I really like him. Like I said, his footwork for me is the best aspect of him, because he can do a lot of the things that people love Vasyl Lomachenko for. He just don't do it as often. Like, he can get to the side. He has that little movement too. You know, he works with them. Excellent fighter. Do you give Del Boy much of a chance in this fight?
I mean, everyone has a chance. You know, is this who shows up that night? You know, what kind of game plan they stick with it, and you know, making things happen for themselves. So it really just depends who's on their game.
Absolutely. So do you think that do you pick an Usyk to win?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I'm going to take Usyk too. I think Usyk's going to win a unanimous decision.
I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think that Usyk will.
Yeah, I think at some point, though, I think Del Boy will somewhere around the middle rounds, I think he'll catch him with something, and we'll find out a little bit about Usyk's chin at the heavyweight division. I just do believe that. Real fast, we got some comments. Clarence McLean from Clarence McLean Promotions here on Facebook. You can find them in the search engine. He said, Malachi, my brother, shout out Danger Zone Boxing. He came back and he said he looked scary. Speaking of Chisora, yeah, he looked pretty funny. I know some people were trying to make it like, oh, if they reversed it and Usyk had showed up, and I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, it's a costume. He's not doing whiteface. Y'all being too sensitive. But so moving on from that fight, we're gonna go over to the top ranked card real fast. Two world title fights on this card. One of them I don't think is getting half the hype it deserves, and we'll start off with that one, and that's Michaela Mayer fighting Ua Brodnicka in a title fight. And Brodnicka, she wore quite an interesting outfit to the weigh-in as well. I think some people like that.
Attention.
And that'll get her some attention, all right. Now she's defended her title. This would have been her 5th title defense. However, she lost her title at the scale. I have a hard time when fighters do that. It's one thing to lose your title in fair competition, but when you lose it to the scale, I just like, man, did you really appreciate your title, or are you looking for some type of advantage? While Maris, she's one of the more interesting prospects in boxing for me. I think she's a very complete fighter.
Yeah, you know,
and again, I just.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of obviously working with Michaela, and you know, she is. I think a lot of people kind of underestimate her. I think, but she's. She definitely has the height. You know, she has that leverage and the reach. So I mean, I think that she's gonna do well. You know, as long as she use her distance and her feigning. Her footwork is gonna be key. So I think she's gonna do well. To be honest, I never really seen her opponent fight, but I know what Michaela can do. So when you know, depending on her opposition, I think she steps up to the occasion. You know, so better opposition, better prepared she gets mentally. So I think she definitely is going to step it up.
Okay. I'm taking her as well. Like, as I said, I view her as one of the most complete prospects in boxing. Just like every boxer, she does have some flaws in her game that she's going to have to improve as she moves along. A lot of people question whether or not she was ready for this title fight. I think she was. I think she proved it in her last fight. That girl that she fought last time has fought some very good fighters. And Michaela, Mare did her very dirty at times. So I like her to win this fight. I'm picking her. In the main event of this fight, we got Jason Maloney, or this card, I'm sorry. We got Jason Maloney taking on the monster, Naoya Inoue. Me personally, I have Monster ranked number 2 on my pound for pound list. I see very few flaws in his game. He does have them. Donaire was able to do some things last time that we had not seen anybody be able to do versus Monster. What do you think of this fight? And what do you think of Monster where people have him? You know, because he's a very hyped fighter right now.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really kept up on him, but I have seen Maloney fight. And so, I mean, I can give you what I feel about Maloney. I mean, he's a really active fighter, really, aggressive and, consistently. He has good condition. But, no boxer is perfect. Every boxer has their flaws. But I know he's going to be well prepared for this fight. But again, it just depends what kind of game plan that they're coming to fight with his opponent. But I mean, from what I've seen from the commercials and seeing both of them, the preparation, I feel like it's going to be a great fight.
I do too. I think people are underestimating Jason. A lot of it has to do is they haven't seen a whole lot of him. Now they do have a similar opponent. Naoya got the guy out of there in 1 round, and Jason lost to him. I'm going to pick Monster in this fight. I do think that Maloney will give it a go. But I just think Monster's just at a different level. You know, as Floyd Mayweather always said, there's levels to this game, and I think he's at that elite level. And I wish Jason all well, because his brothers came on the show, and I like Andrew, but I gotta go with Monster on this one. So we'll move over to the Leo Santa Cruz, the pay-per-view event for this weekend. We'll come back to the main event. There's a fight on the undercard for the WBA 140-pound strap between the champion Mario Barrios and the challenger Ryan Cowboy Carl. I'm a little biased in this because Carl's, I consider him a friend. I'm pulling for Carl in this. I don't know if you had a chance to check out these two fighters.
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a great fight between them two. They're both on that top level, top shelf, and I know they're there for a reason. I know they're gonna both bring out their best and bring out the best out of each other, and to make a great performance for the fans.
Okay, awesome. All right. Then in the main event, we got Leo Santa Cruz and Tank Davis. I found the one thing about this fight, I love the fight. I just don't understand how they can win the 130 and the 135 strap at 130 in this fight. Like, what are you going to tell Leo if he wins it at 130? Well, you can win it at 130, but you can't defend it at 130, this 135-pound strap. But excellent fight. I'm going to start off with you. What do you think the keys to victory for each fighter
are? I think for Santa Cruz, I think that he has to he's going to have to show a lot of creating opportunities, showing his feints, making Gervonta, reach from, lunge from, and create those opportunities to where he can set up the traps and follow through off it, and identifying the opening and then attacking, not getting careless, because Gervonta, he does have a really good counter punching skill, and he is powerful. So I think he has to be aware of Gervonta's strengths, of his counter punching skill, and I think in order for Santa Cruz to do that, he's gonna have to get him off his rhythm and really show the feints and get him off his rhythm and time his shots. And with Gervonta Davis, he's we already know what he's about. He's a strong fighter. He definitely comes with his power, being explosive. So I think that Santa Cruz definitely has to be aware of that, especially the first half of the fight, being really having a really strong defense, and utilizing that footwork, and being able to slip the punches, block the punches, and being able to take the punches off of the power off of Gervonta Davis. I think Gervonta Davis is a good fighter. Is this if he has good condition and he's able to fight hard for 12 rounds, because Santa Cruz, he's a constant fighter, nonstop. So he has to be prepared for a hard 12-round fight if he doesn't get lucky in the early rounds of getting a good punch in.
Agreed. That's been my concern coming into the fight. Although today we did see that Tank made weight on the first try, which was reassuring. But he did look a little dehydrated. But of course, that's often the case on weigh-in day, and they don't always tell you the story because they are going to rehydrate. But I came into the fight with questions about Tank's stamina. Is Tank going to come in shape? Because that's been a thing. He's missed weight, and that's a sign of that you may not be in complete fighting shape, or it's a game plan, as I stated before. But he lost his title at the scale. He better come in shape for this fight, because Leo Santa Cruz is a nonstop puncher, and he's going to punch and punch and punch. And as you stated, and my opinion is Tank needs to get him out of there. Leo is a bit of a slow starter, but he picks it up towards the end of the fight. And if he gets to that 6th round mark and he's still in the fight and he starts picking it up and Tank isn't in shape, it's going to be a long night at the office.
Well, you're definitely going to see his conditioning. If it does go past the 6th or 7th round, you're definitely going to see to see exactly where Tank's condition how it's going to play out. Because little by little, like you said, each round, Santa Cruz picks up the pace and gets closes the gap little by little, and so I think we're definitely going to see where Tank is his condition is going to lie at. So, but if he catches Santa Cruz early, then it's gonna be, we're not going to be able to see that, but that might be his game plan.
So I agree totally with you. So who you taking in the fight? Who you got winning?
I mean, it just depends if Tank lands that shot, or if it goes later in the rounds. If it goes to decision, I think that that Santa Cruz might pull it out, only because of the consistency and the pressure that he puts on, and the accumulation of punches that he does. So if it goes to a decision, I think it might give it to Leo Santa Cruz.
Okay. All right. I'll give my prediction after we see some comments real fast. Claire Klein came back on. I do believe he said he was Team Tank. I can click it on there. Yep, Team Tank. He also stated Cruz will have to sell out to win. Use that reach, go down to the body, drag Tank into deep waters. And yeah, we both agreed with you there. And he said later in the rounds, King Kong shows up. Cruz can't let that happen if he wants to win. All right. And then Shakura Armstrong, who's with the Boxing Playhouse podcast, and as well as Tough Talk Tuesdays, she said that she loves Santa Cruz, and he can do no wrong. So from the sound of it, I think that you're suggesting that Leo be a little more careful than he typically is, because a lot of people are saying that because where Leo throws so many punches, that does leave an opening for counter punching. But if you were his trainer, would you try to, like, cause I know that Tank's a big puncher and a big counter punch could put you out. Would you Would you actually want to
say,
move your fighter away from what's great for them?
I would say, have a very strong, controlled aggression,
Mm-hmm.
defense. So controlled aggression. Don't just rush in. Don't just throw punches to throw punches. Have a purpose while you're throwing, and setting up your shots. But and like you said, like the first 6 rounds is gonna be crucial. If he has a strong defense and able to make that adjustment to where he's not just gonna leave himself open by throwing a lot of punches. I think that if he has a strong defense and able to kind of like close the gap little by little, I think he might have a chance on the later rounds and wearing down Davis. But if he doesn't have that strategy and he wants to go out there and start throwing punches, I think he might leave himself open for to get countered with a powerful shot. I think my choice would be for him to have a strong defense, controlled, have hands up, slipping, letting Tank let his hands go and try to land those power shots, but having a good defense and slowly breaking them down.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk some other news, if you don't mind. Word came out earlier this week that there's actually going to be a belt for this Roy Jones Mike Tyson fight. First off, how do you feel about these celebrity boxing matches?
Oh man, it's crazy. Once I said I'm retired in 2001, I meant it. I'm done getting hit. I don't have no urge to get back in the ring. So I mean, so seeing these guys, I don't know if they have the itch or what, but it's just it's crazy. We'll just see what happens, man. It's crazy. I hope that none of them get hurt. I hope that none of them get hurt, obviously, and I'm just I'm probably still gonna tune in to see what happens, but it's crazy. Now Evander Holyfield might be coming back.
That's what I think. I think that I believe it's the WBC that made this belt. I have a sinking feeling they're going to try to parlay this into a call it like a fight with Evander Holyfield afterwards for the winner, and say that this is for this belt. What are they gonna pay sanctioning fees on this belt? I think it's called the Black Lives Matter belt. Are they gonna pay? What are they gonna do? What is the WBC's point with this belt? I mean, I don't understand it. I respect the WBC. It's the most prestigious belt out there, but sometimes I wonder what the sanctioned bodies think about this type of stuff. Speaking of which,
like what Floyd said, they're making too many belts. There's too many belts, too many champions. There used to be on three or four belts, and that's just what it was. And now they have these other belts. So when does it stop?
So you think that we'll see because the last guy that thought he was having an exhibition with Mike Tyson, didn't he get knocked down or knocked out? Are you expecting a fight? Are you expecting I'm hoping maybe they'll just go to exhibition, but are you expecting them to fight?
Oh yeah, I definitely see. Mike Tyson doesn't know how to hold back. He don't know how to just do just patty cake. He knows how to just go drive through a wall. So there's no just going through the motions. I feel like Tyson's gonna go out there trying to take Roy Jones out, and vice versa. I feel that Roy Jones is also gonna try to take out Tyson too. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. They were actually gonna fight. Obviously there was talks about it many years ago about them making a fight together. But obvious at that time, Tyson was on the top of his game, and so was Roy Jones. So it wouldn't really make sense for Roy Jones to make that fight at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So he
Agreed.
definitely picked the right heavyweight to do that. He picked John Ruiz to make that fight, which was a better choice.
Yes, sir. And Roy's a legend, and I always enjoyed watching him fight. Like I said, around that era when you were fighting, and that was probably my favorite era of boxing. I loved Oscar De La Hoya. I loved Ferocious Fernando Vargas. You, Prince. You guys gave us classic memories in the ring. All right, we'll read some comments real fast again. Clarence came back. He said, "Knock it off." I think he's talking to Shakara about how Leo can't do anything wrong. She said, but the tank haters can't say the weight is an issue now, so I'm glad he made the weight. I think she's talking to me because we've had this conversation several times. Like, I like Tank, but I mean, I gotta, when you lose your title at the scale, this like I have a big problem with that.
Not at this level.
Yeah. But I understand if you're Salido. If you're Salido and you're coming into the fight and this is your game plan, you were planning to move on anyway, I can understand it. But when you're that young and that's your first world title and you just give it up at the strap, like you said, not at this level, Clarence came back. He said 8th or 9th round Tank by stoppage. He said Shakura, she came back. I guess she's getting honest for talking about the old guys and their belt. And she said, let the old champs have their belts. Hey, we're old too. I'm 42, man. I'm old too, man. I'm just saying. She said, but would you watch either of them fight another retired champion? I guess she's asking you, would you like to watch him fight another retired, I guess like Evander Holyfield or James Toney afterwards?
Man, I don't want to see any old guys get hit. To be honest, I just feel like you got to know when to say when. They have all had their time of the sport. Just if you want to pass down your knowledge to these younger up and coming guys, I think they should be doing that.
Okay.
They all they have families. They have families. They have kids. I'm pretty sure if I was trying to get back in, I'm pretty sure my kids wouldn't support that.
Yeah, I think he said that Tyson had said something. His kids had said something to him, and basically, might be a Mike he was like, "Well, you can't beat me up." But I'm glad. My partner was supposed to be there. Salute, Twine. Thank you. But well, I'm glad to have you on. Since we have you on, there's been a topic amongst us that go on Tough Talk Tuesday. It's a podcast hosted by Lucas Biggers and Heavy Bag Boxing. One of our colleagues has the audacity, because he knows I favor the smaller weight classes. He has the audacity to try to tell us nobody below 130 pounds belongs on the pound for pound list. Now, having fought at the lower weight class and knowing the skills, because to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, oftentimes I'm watching these little guys and I'm like, they have way more skill than these bigger guys do. I'm really seeing skill here. What would you say to Rob?
Just because we're smaller doesn't mean that we can't. Obviously we still have good power, we still have good punches, but we show a lot of form and technique. We're not just sitting there holding each other, and staying in the clinch and staying in the pocket. There's a lot more to boxing than that. I think that our division in the lower weight classes are really impressive. So I mean, we throw a lot of punches, but we also throw a lot of power. So I think it just depends on the matchups too. Who you matching up with each other. When they have me and Hamed, it's just kind of like whoever lands their hard punch first is going to be the one who's going to win. And so it just depends what matches are being made.
I agree. And what I noticed too about what I really like about the lower weight classes is because they aren't compensated at the same level that the bigger guys are, you get the fights you want. Like last weekend, we got Carlos Cuadras in Estrada too. You seen Chocolatito on the same card. Chocolatito's going to fight Estrada. You know, we can't even get PBC to recognize Bud Crawford as being a champion half the time when they put their lists up. And, you know, they're not going to – and then, you know, Bud's always saying, you know, well, it's them not making a fight. We can't even get those fights. It ain't like that in the low weight classes. The best fight the best. And I didn't have no problem with Chocolatito when Chocolatito was like, no, you want me to fight all these great guys, but you want to pay me less money than Triple G's opponent on the card that I'm the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world on. You know, so I respect you. You know, the smaller weight class. When I fought amateur, I was a smaller guy. Yeah, I won the Oklahoma State Silver Gloves at 75 pounds. You know, I was a smaller guy, man. You know what I mean? So that's why you guys were my favorite. You know, you, Kevin Kelly. Before we go, I don't want to keep you too long. We're on 36 minutes. Cora said she said some love. Claire said, "Oh no, he's talking about he's familiar with the argument we have with Rob." Before we go, I want you to tell Rob why Rob needs to stop hating on the little guys. Clarence was laughing again, and Shakura said, "Oh my God, he's upset right now because junior flyweights are flying." So that's what I'm talking about. Like I'm sure they're putting on a show, but he's mad. These guys, you know, they don't weigh 147. And she says, "Yes, great card." All right, so before you go, for my buddy Rob, explain to him why he needs to stop hating on the guys below 130.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got to open your mind, man. Just expand your horizon. You know, look at the talent that is there. You know, there's a ton of talent. 135, 126. You know, the flyweights. You know, all that. You know, just look at the potential there, and look at the fights that can be made. The thing is, the fights that can't be made, they're not being made because of the promoters. I think the fighters want it. Mm-hmm. I know the fans want it, but it's just that the promoters are trying to, you know, that's what the issue is. You know, I think the promoters is preventing from big fights happening, and so, you know, so I think that but when it comes to the small guys, that's we gotta give we're paying our dues, man. We're excited.
Absolutely, I agree, and that's why I said when Chocolatito said, "Well, you know, if you don't start paying me, I'm not fighting these top guys." I didn't blame him, and it was about time. Clarence came back. He said, "Us little guys can fight." That's right, Clarence, and oftentimes with more skill. All right. Well, Augie, man, it's been great talking boxing with you, man. I'm gonna let you go. Hopefully, we can have you back on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Are you still working with Team USA?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm the head coach for all the junior and youth boys and girls, the national head coach, and so I've been doing that, and then I'm also going to be starting coaching professionals as well. Okay. So anyone who's out there who's wanting to expand and learn something, some technical work. Mm-hmm. They can reach out to me, promoters, managers. So I mean, so I'm expanding next year, and so I'm looking forward to also having a stable of professional fighters as well, Absolutely. as well as still working with Team USA.
Absolutely, I wish you the best of luck. Before we go finish out our comments, she said, "I need all the men fighting, all the weight classes. Augie, you're a sweetheart. Family is everything." And Clarence came back and he says, "Oh, he wants to learn. He wants to come out and work with you." It looks like, and I know he's currently still amateur. I think he's planning on you know, turning pro at some point. And he's, like you said, he's a smaller fighter too. So you know, you can show him some things. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully next week have you on again. Like I said, so you must have worked with like, you know, at least seen Emmy Vargas, and you've seen you know Hector Castro.
Oh yeah,
out in Arizona. Yeah. I like both those guys' futures. So I'd like to sometime we can come on and maybe we can talk a little bit about amateur boxing. I didn't realize I had seen some of your videos, and I thought you were working with professionals because I seen you was at the Floyd Mayweather gym.
Yeah. So some of my youth of my youth team members, they've come down to Vegas just to get a little bit of one-on-one with me, and also some pros as well, that I've also posted on Facebook or Instagram. So I mean, whoever wants to follow me and see how I work, and like I said, if they're interested, they can more than welcome to reach out to me, and we can work something out.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you for coming on. Danger Zone Boxing Talk. We out. Y'all have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the fights.
Thank you. God bless.